What's up, guys? My name is Rob. Welcome back to Rule of Two Review. And today we're going to talk about that terrible Zelda delay. Alright, well, first things first, as you guys can see and hear, I have obviously finally gotten myself set back up for gameplay footage, gameplay capture, and really good audio for my voice. No longer filming myself on my iPhone using my shitty iPhone microphone so I can actually sound pretty good. I obviously don't look as good because you can't see my awesome face, but hey, that's okay. I actually prefer to show the gameplay footage and discuss the different news topics as per the usual Rule of Two Review format. So, obviously, the reason that I knew I needed to come back full force for this video is because of today's news. And you obviously know from the intro and the title what I'm talking about. It was a humongous piece of news, a huge and really unfortunate bomb that was dropped by Nintendo today. It turns out that The Legend of Zelda for Wii U, which had been scheduled and confirmed many times over to be releasing this year, has now slipped to 2016. So I find this news to be a combination of a really sad shocker and also something that, honestly, when I look in the deepest depths of my soul, I feel like I kind of knew was going to happen. It's The Legend of Zelda. It's a brand new, huge Zelda for their next-gen machine. We know that it's the biggest, most beautiful, and epic scale Zelda game that Nintendo has ever worked on. So when they kept talking about this game, only showed last year at E3 2014, and confirming over and over again that, hey, it's coming out, you know, Christmas time 2015, it's still coming out 2015, this year. I was happy to hear that and I wanted to believe it, but I really, in the back of my mind, I was like, I just don't know that I believe that they can make this game come out at this time. It doesn't make any sense. And then, you know, today's news happened. This came from a video that series producer and director IG Aonuma had released today on the internet, and he had a couple of interesting quotes. I want to read one specific one that I think is pretty telling for what we needed to talk about. I'm sorry, I'm all pulling the quote up here as I go. Okay, so here is what he said, direct quote. Since I declared at the Game Awards in December that the game would launch in 2015, the directors and many members of the development team have been working hard developing the game to make it the best it can be. He then goes on to say that during development, the team discovered several new possibilities for the game, which forced reconsideration for the timeline and priorities. He then goes on to apologize and says that, you know, I apologize. We were expecting the game by year's end, but we're no longer able to make 2015 release our #1 priority. Instead, the priority is to make it the most complete and ultimate Zelda game. So it's, you know, one of those things where there's good and bad things happening there. The bad thing is that, hey, it's not coming out this year, even though Nintendo repeatedly said over and over again that it would be coming out this year. We now learned it's not. It's 2016. But of course, the key component here is at the very end where he says, we're working to make it the most complete and ultimate Zelda game. And what's great about that is that's the thing that a lot of people love about Nintendo. And it's one of the things that I love about Nintendo. I think that this is really sending the right message that not only the most anticipated game for the Wii U, but what is arguably the most or one of the most anticipated games in gaming for the entire year is being so well handled by its developer. It's being shown that one of these biggest games isn't going to be rushed out just to meet the deadline of Christmas, just to get the shit out on shelves and in people's hands when it might not be the best game they want to make it. They care and have so much love and want to have this tender loving care with this series. It's like their flagship series. They want to make sure it releases the way it's supposed to, complete and fully realizing their ultimate vision. They're not trying to make any, so, you know, cut any corners and kind of compromise their vision to make sure the game comes out unfinished, kind of broken, just to get it out in time for holiday because it might sell more copies or this or that. I think that it really sends the right message to other developers who should be taking note with what is happening and how Nintendo is handling one of, if not the biggest game in all of gaming this year. Now, the other good thing that I want to discuss before I get into some of the bad stuff here is something else that he mentioned where they said that they discovered several new possibilities for the game, and that's one of the reasons that they realized they weren't going to be able to hit the 2015 date and have to delay it. Now, assuming that that's really true, because I do think that it is entirely possible that that's not as true as it sounds, and it's just kind of said to be, it's something that he said to maybe soften the blow, and try to sort of justify in people's minds why it's a good thing that they're delaying the game, because obviously people are really upset about this. Everyone's up in arms. People on different sides of the fence. Most people are either upset or just really sad. A lot of people also seem to understand it, and I'm kind of in both camps. I'm not really upset. I'm really just saddened by it, and I'm also, you know, sort of understand where they're coming from. But I feel like, assuming that that statement is true, that it's actually pretty cool to think that they were working on this game, this huge epic scope Zelda game, the biggest ever, and it's going to look amazing and do all these cool things, and the gamepad's going to be wonderful. And they obviously have discovered more things to do, and that concept gets me really excited. It's like, hey, if you've discovered there's more new things you need to do to this game to make it the real Zelda it's supposed to be, do it. Take your time, make it the game it's supposed to be. Zelda is cherished by many. It's cherished by me. I don't want a half-assed game. I'll wait another year if I have to, whatever it takes for it to come out and be the game that it's actually supposed to be. You don't fuck around with Zelda. You make it awesome, because that is what Zelda does. So I like the idea to think that they're discovering new possibilities. I would like to hope that the gamepad is kind of the X factor that's leading the development team to discovering these new possibilities. Where, oh, we figured out the dungeon design and the open world design, and we know what the map is going to do. We know how the gamepad's going to work for this, that, and the other. Oh, wait, but we can do these other cool new things we've never done before, and it could add, you know, myriad new layers of depth to the gameplay in the world, just because the gamepad might allow you to do cool new things that you previously couldn't do. So, you know, we'll have to kind of wait and see, and kind of see how it all turns out and how many really brand new revolutionary features are in this game using the gamepad or not. But I'm just going to kind of hope that that's what it is. Like I said, I do think that it's a possibility that the statement isn't really that true and it's just meant to soften the blow. But I'm going to go ahead and err on the side of a little bit of optimism and hope that it's actually something that is true, and it means this game really will come out and release the best possible way that it could. Now, of course, the last thing that I do still want to touch on is some of the negative stuff. And there's really only one negative thing that's happening here. Other than the sadness of the delay, there's one kind of really stupid and odd thing happening, and that is that Aonuma did also confirm today in that video that the game is not going to be shown or showcased at all at E3 this year in June. And that blew my mind. I am so shocked and surprised and kind of upset about that. Like, the delay is probably the easiest bad piece of news for me to swallow, but not showing anything at E3 after this game was shown over a year ago, or almost a year ago, and they have confirmed repeatedly that it is coming out in 2015. They even brought it up in comparison to Star Fox. They showed up in December at the awards, and Miyamoto and Aonuma themselves said right to millions of fans, hey, this game is 2015. I mean, Aonuma asked Miyamoto about it. Miyamoto said, goddamn hell yeah, that game's coming out in 2015. What the hell? Like, so anyway, I don't want to get too mad too early. Long story short is, they've done so much to reassure us that it is coming out this year. Now we find out it's not coming out this year. Okay, whatever. Do what you got to do. It's Zelda. We're not really surprised, and if the game is good, then that'll still be worth the delay. But how can you do that? And then with E3 just months right around the corner, how can they not show us anything? I think that that is a really bad move. I don't think that it's right for the fans. I think that as fans, we deserve to see something at E3. E3 is the place where you would expect news about the new Zelda, especially when you know that it's coming and you've already seen something on it. You don't keep this a secret. Unless they're doing a major overhaul and the game is going back to like almost the ground up phase, that would be the only reason where I would obviously understand why they wouldn't show anything. Something tells me that's not what they're doing, so they should show us something. Just make a goddamn story trailer, even a 2-minute trailer, something to give us an idea. There's got to be enough stuff that they could show us something, and I think it's really unfortunate and honestly kind of stupid on Nintendo's part not to have anything at E3. Now, he said that what they're trying to do is just focus on 2015 titles, and that's also a good thing. You know, I think that what they're really trying to do is say, hey, we're not worried about the future, we're worried about the right now. We want people to understand the right now. And even though Zelda is the game most people want, that's coming next year, so let's put that on the back burner. Let's show you what you can be excited to play this year and why you should buy a Wii U this year if you haven't already. And in that respect, another thing that it's like, okay, I see where they're coming from, and I think that that is a good move and very smart for marketing. But I don't think that it really supersedes the poor decision of not showing anything for Zelda at E3 this year. I think that that's kind of a dumb shit move, and I'm really disappointed on Nintendo for doing that. They probably have their reason, and it might even be a kind of good reason, but I don't think that it really excuses it. They at least should have said why they're not showing anything. To me, the idea of just showing 2015 titles, while a good idea, isn't enough to justify to the fans why we're not seeing it at this year's E3. So what's interesting to note is, you know, in wrapping up here, going into E3 for this year and knowing that we're not going to see Zelda at E3 or release in November, It's really going to be interesting to see what new games they show. As of right now, Star Fox seems to be their flagship holiday title. And that's awesome. Like, I'm happy with Star Fox this year. In a way, I'm almost happier with Star Fox than Zelda because we've seen 2 Zelda games, more than 2 console Zelda games and a couple of handheld Zelda games in the time between the last Star Fox game. Star Fox's return is kind of a bigger surprise and a more joyous return than a new Zelda, even though I think Zelda will be the better game. So it's like, okay, I will happily take Star Fox as the only flagship Nintendo holiday game. That is going to be just as good. That will easily satiate my need and fill the void. But I'm also hoping for other new announcements at E3 this year discussing games that will be coming out this year. I have a feeling that Yoshi's Woolly World will get pushed back, and I think that's going to be another holiday title. And I know myself and a lot of people thought that maybe Xenoblade Chronicles X was going to come out like over the summer or early fall. At this point, it might be a little bit later. Maybe like August is Xenoblade, or maybe, I don't know, I guess August could be Xenoblade, September, October could be, Yoshi's Woolly World, and then like November would be Star Fox. So you've got those titles to fill out some of the fall and winter time. I'm sure we're going to get other new titles, so hopefully we get another really big reveal of a huge game that will still be coming out this year. I mean, at this point, he said himself, every title that you're going to see at E3 this year for the Wii U and 3DS will be a 2015 game. So any new game announcements should be something for this year, unless they're smart and they also show Metroid for next year. So I can't even think about that right now. I'll get too excited, and I don't even know if that's a possibility now with what he just said. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. That's kind of the news. That's what's happening with Zelda. It's really unfortunate Zelda got delayed. Now with Uncharted 4 and Zelda Wii U being delayed, 2 of the biggest holiday releases for 2 of the consoles has now been delayed. Sony doesn't have their flagship title, and Nintendo, they do have Star Fox, but that's not the same level of flagship title as Zelda is. So they technically lost their main flagship title. They do have a couple of titles in Zelda's stead, but it's not the same as a new Zelda. That's a really big deal. Right now, Microsoft has Halo 5, and that seems to be staying on track. There's no reason to think that's going to be delayed. So they might end up with the biggest holiday title this year, because I don't think Sony's going to have really anything. Nintendo does have some, but I don't think that any of those games are going to be nearly as successful as Halo 5. So it's going to be interesting to see. At least Nintendo, for Nintendo and Wii U fans, at least we have some titles we know to look forward to, and I'm sure we'll see more at E3. But it sucks to lose Zelda, man. This is a crazy piece of news. Of course, share what you think about this below. I know everyone's really upset and sad and miffed about it. It really sucks. You know, I want to hear what you guys have to think. Do you think that the games that we're getting to replace Zelda are going to be good enough? Do you think this is a smart move or a bad move by Nintendo? What do you think with both Zelda and Uncharted slipping to next year? What does it mean for the Wii U and the PlayStation 4? And even the Xbox One with Halo 5 still coming out this year as of right now. Very, very interesting time. Share your thoughts. Of course, if you're new to the channel, please feel free to subscribe, like, and comment. Share the video so it gets my content and the stuff across the rest of the internets and all the YouTubes and all those good things. And thanks for tuning in. I will, of course, catch you guys next time on another video for Rule of 2 Review.